I left my job to care for my spouse's kid for 15 years just to watch them praise his lover for bringing him joy for 8 months. When Melissa, 40F, met her future husband Ryan, 42M, his daughter Lily was just 7 years old. Lily's mother had tragically passed away 2 years earlier, and Ryan was doing his best to juggle a demanding construction supervisor job while raising a young child on his own. They first crossed paths at a mutual friend's housewarming party. Melissa immediately noticed how exhausted yet devoted Ryan was, especially as little Lily clung to his leg, too shy to interact with the crowd of adults. Trying to make the girl feel more comfortable, Melissa offered her a piece of the dessert she had brought. It was a small gesture, but it opened the door. Lily gradually warmed up, even managing a shy smile. Ryan noticed, and something shifted that evening. Afterward, Ryan asked Melissa for her number, and their first date was at a family-friendly restaurant, with Lily in tow. At the time, Melissa found it unusual to bring a child on a first date, but she later realized that Ryan was seeing how well she would connect with his daughter. It turned out to be the beginning of something deeper. Melissa and Lily clicked right away. The quiet, thoughtful little girl seemed to crave a mother figure, and Melissa, who had always dreamed of being a parent, naturally stepped into that space. In the following months, most of their dates included Lily. Ryan invited Melissa to Lily's school plays, weekend soccer games, and even parent-teacher meetings. Instead of feeling pushed aside, Melissa embraced it. Watching Lily's eyes light up whenever she spotted her in a crowd made every sacrifice worth it. Eventually, Ryan asked Melissa to move in. She didn't hesitate. Melissa gave up her apartment and left her full-time job as a middle school English teacher, one she loved but couldn't keep due to the long commute. Instead, she took on a part-time job closer to home, one that allowed her the flexibility to be there for Lily every step of the way. Over the next 15 years, Melissa didn't just fill a role. She became Lily's mother in every way that mattered. While Ryan often left the house before sunrise and didn't return until long after dinner, it was Melissa who stood in the gaps. She made Lily's lunches every morning, always slipping in little handwritten notes to make her smile at school. She was the one hunched over math worksheets and spelling lists at the kitchen table, the one sitting in the front row at every parent-teacher conference, soccer game, and school play. When Lily came down with stomach bugs, ear infections, or just needed someone to talk to after a rough day, it was Melissa who held her hand, ran warm baths, or curled up beside her in bed. She patiently taught Lily how to braid her hair, how to navigate the cruelty of mean girls, and how to stand up for herself with quiet strength. Then one day, when Lily was around 8 years old, something changed. Instead of calling her by her first name, Lily looked up from a drawing and called her Ma. Melissa froze for a moment, heart pounding, unsure how Ryan would react. But when she met his eyes, he just smiled. Later that evening, he told her he felt nothing but relief that Lily had finally found someone to fill that space in her heart. That moment sealed it for Melissa. She wasn't just raising someone else's child, she was a mother. The following year, when Lily was 9, Melissa and Ryan got married in a small, heartfelt backyard ceremony. Lily stood proudly as the flower girl, beaming with joy, and made an announcement in front of the guests. "Now I'm getting a real mom." Melissa's parents, who had once been hesitant about her marrying a man with a child, quickly came around. They saw the love, the bond, and the happiness radiating from the little family the three of them had built. And from that moment forward, Melissa fully embraced her role, not as a stepmother, but as the mother Lily had chosen. When Lily's 22nd birthday approached, Melissa saw it as a milestone worth celebrating in style. Not just another birthday, but a tribute to the young woman she had helped raise. She poured her heart into planning the evening, down to the last detail, wanting it to reflect just how proud she was. She booked a reservation at an upscale Italian restaurant downtown, Lily's dream spot, a place they had talked about visiting for years but never had the occasion. Melissa didn't settle for just any table. She secured the private dining room with panoramic views of the city skyline, calling weeks in advance to make sure everything was perfect. She also curated every element of the evening to make it meaningful. The guest list included close friends, family, and a few of Ryan's coworkers whom he insisted on inviting. Though Melissa found it odd, she didn't question it. She assumed Ryan simply wanted to show off their daughter's achievements. Melissa ordered a custom cake, adorned with an edible image of Lily as a little girl, captured in one of her favorite childhood moments. She wrapped her gift, a silver bracelet engraved with Lily's birth date and the words, "To my daughter with love always," in Lily's favorite color, soft lavender. Alongside it, she included a handwritten card, filled with heartfelt words about how much she admired the person Lily had become. On the big day, Melissa left nothing to chance. She had her hair professionally done, wore the elegant blue dress Lily had picked out with her on their last shopping trip, and arrived early to check everything: the table setting, the decorations, the personalized dessert menu she had worked on with the chef. Everything was ready, everything was perfect, because Melissa wanted Lily to feel celebrated, cherished, and deeply loved. She had no idea this night, built with love and care, would become a turning point she'd never forget. After dinner had been served and the laughter around the table began to settle, Melissa stood up to give a short toast. Her voice was warm, a little shaky from emotion, as she spoke about Lily's journey, from the quiet little girl who clung to her father's leg to the confident, creative woman sitting before them now. She spoke with love and pride, her eyes misty, unaware that this moment of tenderness would soon be shattered. When Melissa finished, she sat back down, expecting maybe a few kind words in return. Lily rose to speak next, holding her glass gently in her hand. At first, her words were what Melissa expected. She thanked her friends for being there and acknowledged her father, Ryan, for always supporting her dreams financially and emotionally. But then Lily turned her gaze across the room, locking eyes with someone Melissa barely knew. Laura, one of Ryan's co-workers who had spent the evening sitting too close, laughing too easily at Ryan's jokes. And then, with the same calm tone, Lily said, "I'd especially like to thank Laura for making my dad happy these past 8 months. It's so nice to see him smile again." The room fell into a heavy, stunned silence. Forks paused mid-air, drinks hovered between lips. Melissa's heart stopped as the words sank in. She glanced around, waiting for someone to laugh and say it was a joke. But no one did. Melissa looked at Ryan, whose face had gone red with embarrassment and guilt. Laura, on the other hand, sat with a serene little smile on her lips, eyes downcast as if trying to appear humble, but her hand subtly reached across to squeeze Ryan's. Lily continued, unaware or uncaring of the bomb she had just dropped. "I know it's been hard keeping your relationship secret, but I'm glad we don't have to pretend anymore. Laura's been like a friend to me, and I'm just so happy Dad found someone who really understands him." Melissa sat frozen. Her ears were ringing, her cheeks burned, and her breath came in short, shallow gasps. She had planned every detail of this celebration, and now it had been hijacked to publicly announce her husband's affair, right in front of family, friends, and strangers. As murmurs spread across the room and eyes turned toward her, Melissa realized the truth wasn't just that Ryan had cheated, but that Lily, the daughter she had raised and loved for 15 years, had known all along and chosen this moment to expose it. Without a word, she stood up, took her purse, and walked out, leaving behind the celebration, the cake, the bracelet, and the life she had built. Melissa didn't look back as she stormed out of the restaurant. Her heels clicked hard against the pavement, her hands trembling as she fumbled inside her purse for the car keys. The night air was cold, but the heat of betrayal pulsed beneath her skin. Her vision blurred with tears, not just from the shock, but from the deep humiliation of being blindsided in front of everyone she loved. Behind her, she heard hurried footsteps and then Ryan's voice, breathless and anxious. "Melissa, wait, please, let me explain." She said nothing. Her keys slipped from her fingers as she reached the car. Before she could pick them up, Ryan caught up to her and grabbed her arm. Just let me talk, okay?" Melissa pulled her arm away, her voice quiet but sharp. "How long, Ryan?" He looked away, guilt written all over his face. "It doesn't matter. It matters to me. Our daughter said it's been 8 months. Ryan ran a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling up beneath his remorse. "Things between us haven't been right for years, Melissa. You had to feel it too." She stared at him, stunned. This was his excuse? After 15 years of building a home, of raising his child like her own? "So you cheated?" she asked, voice cracking. "It just happened," he muttered. "Laura and I worked closely together on a project, and I don't know, we connected. She sees me, understands me, in ways you stopped doing a long time ago." Melissa stepped back, as if his words had physically shoved her. Her mind reeled. "You mean the woman who sat at our daughter's birthday dinner stroking your arm and smiling like the queen of the evening? That's who understands you?" Ryan sighed, still trying to spin his narrative. "Laura gets what I want for my future. And Lily, she's okay with it. She sees how happy we are." Melissa let out a bitter laugh, then went silent. In that moment she realized how far removed she was from the people she thought were her family. Were the last 15 years meaningless to you? she asked quietly. Ryan didn't respond. Instead, he looked away, ashamed, or maybe just too cowardly to face her pain. "You were a great stepmother to Lily," he finally said, "and I'll always be grateful for that. But Laura and we want the same things now." That was it. Melissa said nothing more. She picked up her keys, unlocked the car, and got in, leaving Ryan standing there alone under the harsh glow of a parking lot streetlight. That night, she didn't go home. She drove straight to her sister's house, heartbroken, betrayed, and finally free from the illusion that the life she had built was ever truly hers. In the days that followed that disastrous night, Melissa felt like a ghost walking through her own life. Her body moved, but her heart was hollow. The laughter that once filled her home, the warmth she had carefully built over 15 years, it all felt like a cruel illusion. She returned to the house once, while Ryan was at work, to gather the essentials. The silence inside was deafening. Every photo on the walls, every piece of furniture, every dish in the kitchen, they all held memories that now felt poisoned. But what shattered her the most wasn't just what was gone, it was what had already started to take its place. In the bedroom she had shared with Ryan, Melissa noticed small but unmistakable signs of Laura's presence. Her perfume on the dresser, her makeup bag in the bathroom, a silk robe hanging behind the door. Laura hadn't just stepped into Melissa's life, she had begun to erase her from it. Melissa took only what she needed: clothes, personal documents, a few cherished family photos and keepsakes she couldn't leave behind. Before walking out, she slipped off her wedding ring and left it on the kitchen counter beside a handwritten note. "I'll be filing for divorce. My lawyer will be in touch." She didn't mention Lily. She couldn't. The pain ran too deep, the betrayal too fresh. For the next few weeks, Melissa stayed with her sister while searching for a new apartment. She couldn't concentrate on anything. Not her part-time job, not her usual hobbies, not even reading. The emotional weight was crushing, so she took a leave of absence from work, focusing on one thing: escaping the wreckage. Ryan, meanwhile, wouldn't stop texting and calling. At first, his messages were apologetic. "I'm sorry you found out that way," but soon they became defensive, even hostile. He accused Melissa of being emotionally distant, of focusing too much on Lily and not enough on him. He said she had stopped being the woman he married. "You made me feel invisible," one message read. "Laura saw me, something you stopped doing years ago." Melissa didn't reply. Instead, she forwarded everything to her lawyer and blocked his number. Lily, too, tried to reach out, leaving long, tearful voicemails. In the beginning, her tone was apologetic. She said she didn't mean for things to unfold the way they did, that she just wanted her father to be happy. But as the days passed and Melissa didn't respond, Lily's messages grew more defensive. "I don't get why you're so upset," she said in one voicemail. "Families go through stuff like this. It's not like I chose Laura over you. I thought you'd understand." Melissa listened to them in private, sometimes in the middle of the night, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't reconcile the sweet, wide-eyed child she had raised with this new version of Lily, a young woman who had helped cover up a betrayal, and sat silently while her world fell apart. So she said nothing. Not because she didn't feel anything, but because there were no words that could express how deeply she'd been broken. Weeks after Melissa had gone no contact, a text arrived from an unknown number. "Please, I need to talk to you. It's important. Lily." Melissa stared at the message for a long time. Her instinct was to delete it, to stay safe behind the emotional wall she'd built. But something about the message, something in the please, cracked her resolve. Just a little. Against her better judgment, and against her sister's advice, she agreed to meet Lily at a small, quiet diner near her new apartment. When Melissa walked in, she nearly didn't recognize her. The usually polished and confident Lily looked like a shadow of herself. Her hair was pulled into a messy knot, her clothes wrinkled, and her eyes puffy and rimmed with dark circles. She was shredding a napkin between her fingers like her nerves were about to burst. As Melissa slid into the booth across from her, Lily burst into tears. Melissa said nothing at first. She simply ordered a coffee she didn't want, just to give Lily a moment to gather herself. When the waitress walked away, Lily began speaking in broken, hurried bursts between sobs. "Laura moved in a few days after you left," she said. "She took the master bedroom, took down your pictures, replaced everything with her art." Melissa sat still, listening, bracing herself for what she already suspected. "She announced she was pregnant 2 weeks later. During dinner," Lily continued, choking on the memory. "Dad was surprised at first, but then he just smiled and toasted to their New beginning. Melissa blinked slowly, keeping her hands folded, her expression unreadable. Inside, she was screaming. Lily wiped her face and went on. That night, Ryan had called her into his home office. Calmly, even cheerfully, he told her they'd be converting her bedroom into a nursery. Laura needed less stress. Lily's attitude was creating a toxic environment. It was best if she found somewhere else to stay. He kicked me out, Lily whispered, just like that. She had packed a few bags and moved in temporarily with a friend. She told herself it was only for a few nights, but her retail job couldn't support rent in the city. She had missed too many shifts trying to cope with the chaos. By the time she returned to work, she'd been replaced. Now she was jobless, homeless, and drifting. Melissa listened in silence, her heart conflicted. She had wanted Lily to feel the weight of her actions, but not this. Still, the most painful part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was what came next. Hearing how easily she had been replaced. The bedroom she used to tuck Lily into. The walls once lined with family photos. The kitchen where she cooked every meal. All of it now erased, remodeled, overwritten by someone who hadn't earned any of it. And worse still, Lily had helped her do it. As the silence stretched between them in the quiet corner of the diner, Melissa finally asked the question that had been burning in her mind. "When did you know about them?" Lily hesitated, her eyes darting to the window, ashamed. Then, in a trembling voice, she answered. "Laura came to see me 8 months ago. She showed up at the store where I worked. She bought me lunch and said she wanted to talk." Melissa listened, frozen. She could barely process that the betrayal had started that far back. "She told me she and Dad had feelings for each other," Lily continued. "She said she wanted my blessing before things got serious, and instead of being shocked or outraged, Lily admitted that she'd felt special, included in a grown-up secret. Laura hadn't just manipulated Ryan. She had charmed Lily, too. She took her shopping, showered her with expensive gifts, and spun a tale of a happy modern family where they could all live together peacefully. "She said you'd understand eventually," Lily whispered. "She said families evolve, that this kind of thing happens all the time now." Melissa's stomach turned. The gaslighting had gone deeper than she realized. Then came the worst part. Lily confessed that over those 8 months she had actively helped her father hide the affair. She had deleted suspicious texts from Ryan's phone when he left it unattended. Once, she even created a fake college emergency, frantic over a supposed missed assignment, just to distract Melissa long enough so Ryan and Laura could sneak away for a weekend together. "I thought if we kept it quiet long enough you'd come around," Lily said, almost pleading. "Laura said we could all be friends eventually, that this was just part of the transition." Melissa was stunned, not just by the betrayal, but by how naive and blind Lily had been. The girl she had raised with values, empathy, and honesty had been turned into a pawn in someone else's manipulation. And worse, she had willingly played the role, but the damage was already done. Melissa's voice was steady, but her eyes were glassy. "I gave up everything for you," she said softly. "And you watched me love you, feed you, clothe you, fight for you, while knowing I was being lied to." She didn't shout. She didn't cry. But those words landed like a slap, and for the first time that day, Lily had nothing to say. As Melissa stood up from the diner booth, ready to leave, Lily's voice cracked through the silence. "Please, don't go. You're the only mom I've ever really known." Melissa froze, one hand resting on the door. For a fleeting second, she didn't see the 22-year-old who had kept secrets and helped orchestrate betrayal. She saw the little girl in pigtails who used to fall asleep in her lap, who used to call her mom with innocent love. But the moment passed. Without turning back, she stepped outside and walked away, her heart a storm of sorrow, anger, and exhaustion. In the following days, Melissa's sister told her about a post Lily had made on social media. In it, Lily shared a vague story about being betrayed by her family, of having no home, and being misunderstood. It painted her as the victim, glossing over the choices she had made. Soon, relatives started reaching out to Melissa. Some were kind, others were blunt. All seemed to say some version of the same thing. "You raised her. You're the only mother she's known. You can't just throw her away now." But Melissa couldn't ignore the truth. Lily hadn't just made a mistake. She made a choice again and again. She hadn't slipped into betrayal. She had helped build it, one lie at a time. And only now, after being cast aside by Ryan and Laura, did Lily come crawling back. After Melissa left, Laura quickly made it clear Lily was no longer part of their future. With her usefulness gone, no more secrets to protect, no more distractions to offer, Lily had become a burden. She was told to move out, her room converted for the new baby. Her retail job was gone, her friendships had frayed, she was effectively homeless. But even in the face of all that, Melissa couldn't bring herself to open her arms. "I'm not ready," she told her sister, tears welling up, "because when I look at her, all I see is that night. The night Lily smiled and toasted Laura. The night she said nothing while Melissa's heart shattered in front of a room full of people. Lily may have been abandoned by the people she thought she could trust, but Melissa had been betrayed by the one person she never thought would hurt her. Forgiveness, if it ever came, was still a long way off. Weeks had passed since that painful diner meeting. Melissa had returned to her quiet routine, living alone in her small apartment, trying to rebuild her life one day at a time. The silence was sometimes welcome, sometimes unbearable, but she had made peace with at least one truth. She needed space. Then, one evening, an envelope arrived in her mailbox. No return address, just her name written in Lily's familiar handwriting. Inside was a letter, not dramatic, not defensive, just honest. Lily had finally acknowledged everything. She admitted that Laura had slowly, carefully manipulated her, that Laura had made her feel special and included, like she mattered in a way that turned her against the very woman who had raised her. She wrote about how she had let herself be swayed, how she wanted to believe the fantasy of a modern family where everyone stayed friends, but that fantasy had crumbled the second Melissa walked away, and Ryan and Laura didn't look back. She confessed how she had erased Melissa's messages from Ryan's phone, covered for him, and helped hide weekends away. She said she no longer saw it as harmless, she recognized it now for what it was: betrayal. But Lily didn't ask for forgiveness. She knew she didn't deserve it, not yet. She simply wanted Melissa to know that she finally understood the depth of what she'd done. She ended the letter by saying she had found a small apartment with a roommate and started a new job. She was trying to get her life back on track. She didn't ask for money. She didn't beg for help. Just one thing: "I know I can't undo it, but I hope someday you'll believe I'm truly sorry." Melissa sat with the letter in her lap for a long time. She didn't cry this time. She just breathed. The next morning she sent Lily a short message, her first in weeks. No emotion, no promises. Just a quiet step forward. "Here's the name of a therapist who helped someone I know. You might find it useful." It wasn't reconciliation, not yet. The wounds were still fresh, the trust shattered, but it was something. Melissa needed more time, maybe a lot of it, but for the first time she saw a flicker of possibility in the ruins. Not forgiveness, not family as it was, but maybe the beginning of healing.